You're at the right place if you're here for positive coaching for families. We're looking forward to this session. Our guest presenter is Chris Harrison with Hillsborough County Parks and Recreation. How are you doing, Chris?
I'm doing well. Yourself?
Great. Chris is having some webcam issues. Well, our system, I should be fair, our system is having some webcam issues. That's why you don't see him, but you can hear him, which is fine. What I'm going to go ahead and do here is do a book shout out before we hand things over to him. A little bit about Libraries Build Communities. Firstly, it's a collaboration between USF's School of Information's Responsive Librarianship Group and our library system. And to learn more about that, you can go to our landing page, hcplc.org/librariesbuildcommunities. Also, we have a book shout out tonight. It's called The Awakened Family, How to Raise Empowered, Resilient, and Conscious Children. This can be checked out as an ebook through our Libby collection. To learn more about all of our books and to search for other titles like this, you can go to hcplc.org/books. All right, I'm now going to give Chris presenter control so he can bring up his screen. And Chris, let me know if you need anything. I'm just going to turn off my camera and mic and hand things over to you.
Perfect. All right, can you see my first slide?
Yes, I can.
Awesome. All right, like Chris said, my name is Chris Harrison with Hillsborough County Parks and Recreation. I'm going to be talking about positive coaching for families as well as the Positive Coaching Alliance, one of the organizations that we partner with. A little bit about myself. I've been with the Parks Department now 9 years. I've been working with the Positive Coaching Alliance through our partnership, our character development program for the last 4 years. And this last year, I was selected as the top 25 national winners for Coaches of the Year. So I think that's why I was asked to come and speak today about this. I have a little bit of knowledge and background with it. Moving forward. So what is the Positive Coaching Alliance? So the Positive Coaching Alliance is an organization that's come together to better sports altogether. All youth can benefit from positive, inclusive sports culture that develops social and emotional skills, molds character, and prepares them for competition in life. Most people agree that the life lessons we get from sports kind of project us forward and stay with us throughout life. From that, the Positive Coaching Alliance has found that the old ways of coaching, though they were great and found much success, can be improved. Some of us have come subject to those ways of coaching that are, you're going to listen to what I say and do as I say, or have found that the old school way of like the fear that the athletes find, that's where they find their success. And we found moving forward that if we take a positive spin on it and actually impact them and make them better people, we found that they are also better athletes. So from that, a character development program that Parks and Recreation helped found with the Positive Coaching Alliance was born. Some of the things we speak about in that character development program are the E-tank, and that represents their emotional tank. So what we help all of our athletes, whether they're 5, 4-year-olds, all the way up to the high school, college, and pro level, we talk about their emotional tank. When it's full, when it's empty, we represent it kind of like a gas tank. We talk about, what fills our E-tank when we get positive affirmations, when our teammates are being good teammates, and what empties our E-tank when we have, hecklers in the stands, or if we're putting a lot of pressure on ourselves and having negative talk. So that's kind of the E-tank. That's one big part that we kind of teach our athletes early on to understand their E-tank, and that's where that emotional intelligence comes from. The next thing we talk about is roots. That stands for rules, opponents, officials, teammates, and self. And we talk about respecting those. So we talk about respecting the rules, respecting our opponents, our officials, our other teammates, in the end, ourselves. From those kind of key concepts, we move into the mastery of ELM. We love acronyms, and that stands for effort, learning, and mistakes. You're here today. I'm going to talk a lot at the end kind of about mistakes, and then reset. Reset kind of goes right with mistakes. Reset is like learning to take a step back or remove themselves when there's a situation that they feel is going to be overwhelming or that's going to lead them into kind of a negative path. For our older kids, we talk about growth mindset. So whether they're being open to new things, open to new sports, or open to new things in life, and then smart goal setting. That's again for like our middle school, high school, and upper level kids. We talk about, what are my goals? What am I trying to achieve? Where do I want to be as an athlete, and so on. So how it is utilized in sports today. So how do we take these character development things? How do we take these things that the PCA is teaching and make them and put them into sports? We talk about reinforcing play through positive coaching values. So again, I spoke that some of us have maybe come to those old ways of coaching where coaches would be, if we don't get this, if we don't win this game, then we're going to be running in the morning. We've kind of taken a new spin on that. We don't really see it that way anymore. We don't take losing as like the negative. It's the end all be all. We lost and now we are losers. We have a new coaching value. So it's all about positive affirmation. So if we say, yes, we did lose, this is how we're going to learn from it. These are the mistakes we made. This is how we're going to move forward. Um, and then we focus on developing the actual person. So we want them to know that, if you walk away from sports one day and you don't play another down, or you don't swim another lap, these are the things you took with you. You learned how to be a good person. You learned how to overcome mistakes. You learned how to step back when you knew things were getting out of hand. And then how it's utilized in the Tampa Bay area. So majority of high schools now have their own PCA club, their own positive coaching club. The Positive Coaching Alliance offers clinics throughout the Tampa Bay area. And then all of the high school athletes are able to apply for the Triple Impact Competitor Scholarship Award. I'm also on that board. So what we do is all of these high school athletes will submit an application that shows not only their athletic abilities, but what they do in their community. They have multiple written subjects on, one would be, tell me about a time when you had to overcome a time when you weren't being a great teammate, and they have to write out and tell us about how they were not a great teammate and realized it and became a better teammate. So we're not only looking for great athletes, but we're looking for kids that are identifying themselves as good people and how they can make an impact in their area and how they can impact the game to be a better sport overall. So how it's used at home. So we take that same positive aspect, that same, affirmation that we're trying to get them to understand that, yes, sports are important. Yes, winning is important, but being a better person and being able to be a part of society and a positive part of society is super important as well. So we mirror those same concepts that we're teaching into day-to-day tasks. So if I tell a kid when I'm coaching sports, did you respect the rules? The rule is in flag football, you can't flag guard. Did you respect the rules? So when they get home that night, if the rule is they have to wash their hands before dinner and they didn't, we can ask, did you respect the rules? So we take those same teaching concepts and apply them to everything. We found a lot of success doing that. So the same positive driven reinforcement, we find things that the kids love to do, and we use that as a positive driving force. And then a criticism sandwich is something that we take maybe something they've done in the game that they need to be talked about, and we take that criticism, we find one great thing they did, two great things actually that they did, and we're able to smush that one bad thing in between. So if I come to a kid when I'm coaching him in basketball and he keeps double dribbling, he just can't get it, and I'll explain to him, you're doing a great job giving your best effort, but when you're giving your best effort, you're getting caught up and you're holding the ball and you're dribbling again. That's called a double dribble. So I really appreciate you doing your best, but we have to make this correction. So that's where like a criticism sandwich is used. I found a lot of success using that technique. All right, so I said I was going to be talking a lot about mistakes and reset. These are two of the concepts that we use a lot, and I feel like these are two concepts that can be used at home really easily. Mistakes, why they're so important. So that's how we learn. That's the first thing we start to explain when we start to talk about mastering Elm, that mistakes are how we learn. Mistakes are how we get better. Mistakes are things that everyone makes, and we're going to have to make them, and they're so important to make them because that's how it's going to help us grow. And when we get on the concept of how we use them is as a growing technique, as a tool to get better. That kind of leads us right into the reset portion. So if we do make those mistakes and then we're not getting over that hill, we may have to take a reset. Identifying we need to utilize this skill. So if I know I played college football, so if I know I'm trying to learn a new play and I can't get it, I keep making the same mistakes and the coaches are trying to get me through it and my teammates are trying to get me through it, I might need to take a reset. So I'm going to step back and say, all right, I'm not even going to worry about this play. I'm going to move on to something else. I'm going to work on my footwork for this whole day, and then I'll come back to it. It may not be as extreme as walking away, but it may be, when we talk about reset, it could be just taking a deep breath or talking to a friend or moving on from the subject completely. So that's kind of how we teach our athletes and our kids how to utilize the mistakes that they're gonna be made, that they need to realize that they are rather important for them, and that they're going to be useful in life. And then that's how the concept of reset is used as well, is that it's okay to be able to walk away from it. It's okay to know, I need to take a deep breath. I need to get away from this. So that's kind of in the nutshell PCA, and then how the concepts of mistake and reset. Anyone have any questions?
All right. Okay, let's see. Let me go ahead and look at our question section here. If you have questions, please feel free to post them in the question section. And it looks like we have some coming in here. Someone wants to know, do you find that some of the character development learning points are also helpful for adults? Do you ever encounter adults who are learning from the experiences as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So this character development program is actually now it's department wide. We use the same character development for every single site and every single child. And when it first began, that we had a lot of talk and a lot of input and go back and forth, because we found that we're like, these are a lot of like life lessons. We're not really even
Yes.
talking about sports at this point. It's life stuff that we're talking about. So we found that a lot of our coaches were getting a lot out of it, and
Yeah.
that's why we liked it so much. And we've kind of dove in and bought in so wholeheartedly, to the point that our staff shirts have the PCA logo and Better Athletes, Better People on the back
Right.
of them, because we really embodied ourselves into it.
Yeah, that's great. So with that organization, someone's asking if there are possible volunteer opportunities or ways to get involved with the high school clubs or the coaching clinics. Is there a process for that?
Absolutely. If you just go to their website, you go to Positive Coaching for Tampa Bay. That's the flagship for Tampa Bay. They have everything posted on their website. They do have free coaching clinics for parents and coaches, and they also have volunteer opportunities. The Triple Impact Competitor, the scholarship, when kids apply, they can also volunteer through it, and there's service hours that are necessary. So that as well. If you have any high school athletes, definitely get involved with that.
What is the website? It's Positive Coaching for Tampa Bay. Is it .org or .com?
So if you go to positivecoaching.org/Tampa Bay.
Okay. I'm going to post that in this chat section, positivecoaching.org/Tampa Bay. All right. I shared it with everyone. Great. Thank you. And it looks like we have another question here. Well, actually two. Another one just came in. So do you work with school teachers ever? Does your organization ever work with them to kind of share these concepts or approaches?
We don't currently work with the school. We do now work with the city of Tampa Parks and Recreation, but I know that the Positive Coaching Alliance works with the school directly, and that they have their own trainers through PCA that go in and speak to the classes as well.
Excellent. Yeah, it seems like a lot of those concepts would apply there as well. All right, one last question. Someone wants to know, what drew you to coaching?
So I grew up actually in Parks and Recreation. I grew up at the park I currently supervise. I grew up at Northdale Recreation Center. I went here since I was a kid. Yeah, so I started playing just recreational sports here, and I kind of fell in love. I fell in love with basketball and football, and then all through just being, in public schools, just playing sports, having friends that played sports. That kind of what got me in the sports alley of just playing. It kind of kept me well in class as well. My mom always told me I wouldn't be allowed to play if I didn't do well in school, so that kind of drove both sides. And then when I came home from playing college football, there was the opportunity to be a summer hire at this park. So I came and I worked the summer, and I kind of fell in love with being at the park. It was fun. It's the only job that they would let me throw dodgeballs at kids and pay me for it. So I was like, this is great. I'll definitely do this. So I just kind of I stuck with it, and it's something I'm passionate about. So I just stayed. I've coached at the recreational level, at the competitive level. I've coached high school sports, and then I've coached adaptive sports at the Olympic Special Olympic level as well.
Oh, wonderful. Well, yeah, it sounds like it was your calling for sure. Awesome. Let me go ahead and come back on camera here. Thank you so much, Chris, for sharing your information and the positive coaching. All of those approaches and points that you guys use are fantastic. We really, really enjoyed that and hearing about that. If you'd like to contact the library, you can call the number here on the screen, 813-273-3652, or you can go online at hcplc.org/contact. Also, while you're there, you can submit your library story. You can share somehow, some way, how the library has helped you. You can submit your stories there. And also, like I mentioned at the top, we have our Libraries Build Communities landing page at hcplc.org/librariesbuildcommunities. And also, in the chat section, if you want to grab it, there's that URL, thepositivecoaching.org/Tampa Bay. All right, well, thanks again, Chris. We appreciate you spending time with us tonight. And thank you everyone who has joined us. We hope you have a great evening and see you all soon. Take care.